So I wanted to talk about what I'm seeing and other people have actually sent to me and told me. Um, there is a lot of panic going on with the back to school season upon us. And I'm not surprised. And every year we see it, which is why I actually wrote the letter that I wrote on my website last August. Um, but I will say that it seems that there's a lot of problems going on within the food allergy community, and I hope everyone sees this because this is the only way that it's going to improve. We're dealing with two major issues. So the first issue is that schools are sending out letters that are only addressing peanut and nut allergies. They are not addressing the other allergies equally that are present in their classrooms and in their school building. That in turn minimizes other allergens because people think that they're not as severe. It also creates the false sense of security that a school thinks that if we don't have peanuts or nuts around, we won't have a risk of anaphylaxis, when that's not true. Because you're actually not only, as studies have shown, put more risk because there's this false sense of security, you're also putting other children with other allergies at risk as well. So we have this blanket policy problem that's going on, and that is causing people to have this false belief, and I have read it in so many posts, and this is what I need from the members of this group, because I know many of you agree with what I'm about to say. The posts in every single group where this topic has come up, there are the same lines being used by the same group of people, or should I say people who only have peanut allergies. And the lines are the same all the time. And here's the following lines. Well, it's a start. Peanuts are more dangerous. They're the most dangerous allergen than anything else, and that's why they need to be banned. The next one is that peanuts are airborne. Nothing else is. The next line is, excuse me, I've been dealing with some laryngitis. The next line that we get is, we should all be happy for every little bit, or that milk and egg are not as severe and they're outgrown, so that's why they're not asked for bans, and peanuts are messy and peanut butter is messy, sticks to counters and tables and hands and things like that. People easily dismiss that cream cheese, powdered cheese puffs, pretzels, which create wheat in the air, eggs, and you name it, seafood. People are very quick in these groups and on these posts to dismiss that any allergen is equally as reactive as a peanut can be. I know this might be angering some of you, but this is a fact. And as long as people have this false belief that peanut is the only allergen that's more dangerous and more reactive, children who have multiple food allergies like milk and egg and peanut and tree nut and soy and sesame will be put at risk because people are being naive to think that peanut is the only issue. It is not. And we need policies that will protect every single child in that classroom. So, if you're going to send out a note that says tree nut and peanut free, and there's someone in that classroom who has a milk or egg or sunflower seed allergy, if you're going to ban the peanuts and tree nuts, then they need to be ready to be banning the rest of the allergens in the room as well. I'm not quite sure why it's okay to exclude the nut and make sure that the products in the classroom are nut-free but then not make sure that those products are free of other allergens in the classroom. That's mind-boggling to me. But what we need to do is educate these people that it makes no difference what the allergen is. If someone is allergic to it, they're going to have the same reaction. Anaphylaxis does not discriminate between what the allergen is. If I'm allergic to peanut and egg and milk and I'm around that and I have any one of those triggers, I'm still going to react to it. And if you have a child in your classroom that has, let's say, an anaphylactic banana allergy, and believe me, I have those and I've seen them. My kids don't have it, but I have managed people with it. And they're saying that they can't have peanuts or whatever, but they can bring in something with another allergen in the room. That's not fair. And it is actually discriminatory if you are going to say you are going to be a nut-free room, but then you have a milk or egg or wheat or soy child in that room, and the safe snack list or the foods that are coming in do not meet that other child's needs. So we have to demand that if you're going to make rules for one set of allergies, those rules have to pertain to all allergens that are present in that classroom or in the school building. I mean, there's no way you can get milk banned. And I love the other comments that I get. Well, if it's a matter of life and death, I'd be very happy not to send anything with milk in. Yeah, okay, so let's do away with pizza parties, ice cream. Oh, and every single cookie and cupcake and bar, breakfast bar, everything has milk or egg in it. Let's just be very clear about that. And this would not come in, and I guarantee you, parents would realize, hey, I can't do that. I really can't. No, I mean, like, my kid needs to eat something. I put out on Twitter the other day, there was a lot of fights going on over a post where there was a poll whether people should be allowed to bring peanuts or nut products on a flight, on board, on their person. And this poll, actually, the majority of people said that no, people should not be able to. So when I presented the question, what do you do with a child who, let's say, is milk and egg allergic and their parents bring almond milk on a flight, or that almond butter sandwich, or a peanut butter sandwich, but this, would you stop them? Because this child is already going to be limited. Do you know nobody answered my question? Obviously not. Well, actually, some people did, and they said, nobody needs nuts. Nobody needs nuts. Nobody needs to drink milk. Guess what? Okay, then nobody needs to have anything with milk or egg or wheat or soy or whatever allergen is on a flight either. We have to stop this misconception. And it's not that I'm angry or that I'm knocking anyone down. What I'm fighting for is equal protection and equal awareness. As long as those false myths exist, that peanut is more dangerous than any other allergen, our children with other allergens are kept at risk. And this needs to be changed now. So that's our main problem going on in the groups right now, which is so beyond frustrating to me. And obviously, since I'm not in a lot of groups, I can't post in a lot of groups, I am relying on others to speak up on this. The other thing I am concerned about is the propaganda, the extreme propaganda that is being used to cause fear for the back-to-school season. I saw a post today that had a lunchbox, and it was a flash post actually, that had a lunchbox and it said, lunch, between lunch and death. Lunch shouldn't be a choice between lunch and death, and it was a picture of a lunchbox, and then a sandwich had a skull and crossbones in it. Yeah, over the top. The propaganda that has been coming out about school lunches or about school, I think, is feeding fuel to the fire. Why there's so much anxiety going on about going back to school. Newly diagnosed people obviously are seeing this. Years and years ago, I mean, my older son's a teenager now, and my younger son is going into middle school. We didn't have that. You know, your kid had a food allergy. You worked with the school to get what you needed. You communicated it effectively. I will say that in pre-K, I really, really tried to have an approved snack list. That didn't get followed. But what I will say is that there wasn't this drama that having a food allergy equals death. Is it scary? Is it dangerous? Yes, it definitely is. But do accidents happen? Yeah, they do. Which is why it's so important to convey to our children that they go nowhere without their epinephrine. But again, the skull and crossbones and saying that if your kid is even near a peanut butter sandwich, that it equals death is just drama. I mean, there's no medical evidence that that's the case. And anybody who wants to dispute that, fine. But I can tell you last September, they came out with a second study called the Proximity Challenge, encouraging allergists to expose their patients so that they would relieve the anxiety. Now, are there certain ways things can be airborne? 100%. Cooking fish, cooking eggs, cooking milk, all releases the protein into the air. How are nuts released into the air? Obviously, crushing them and opening up shells definitely can happen. However, the peanut butter and the butter forms totally different way, and any allergist will tell you that that is not the same type of risk. So this is why we're always saying rational risk versus perceived risk. So investigate the real risk versus the perceived risk. And the way you can do that is by reading up and also talking to your allergist. But my concern is, again, all these false myths going on that peanut butter is the worst allergen. Actually, one of the sites I just saw said that peanut butter, peanut allergies are the one rising and it's the most dangerous and it's what the most kids have. Just to correct that, should you see that in a group, milk and egg allergies are the most common allergies in children, just so you know. As far as outgrowing them, yes, in the past, children did outgrow milk and egg allergies. However, in recent years, they are holding on to them longer, and many kids past their 16th birthday are still anaphylactic to milk, and those to eggs as well. So, if anyone tries to say that to you, you can cite their sources. There are posts on there about that. My hope is that before we get back to school, and when you do go back to school, is that we educate every school that we can, or parents basically, that nut-free policies only protect one group of people. Now here are the stats again. 15 million Americans have a food allergy. 3.5 million of those have a nut allergy, and that includes all nuts. You do the math. Do the math and figure out how many people's allergies are not being covered in these policies. The policies that schools need to make need to be considerate of all the needs of all the children that potentially have allergens in that classroom, not one specific one. And this is not nut bashing, and this is not bashing anything. This is just fact, and this is looking out for protection for everybody and for fair and equal treatment. And with that, I'm going to go, but please keep your eyes out. If you see anything that you want to post or you need journal articles or anything backup, feel free to reach out. I know my admins have been doing a great job. Thank you, Jen and Jen. And I will check back in with you guys soon. We have 5 more days of camp. and then I'll be back home. Well, then we have kind of school, back to school stuff going on here too. But that being said, if anyone needs any help with back to school stuff or any anxiety or with schools and stuff, let me know. Thanks. Bye.